Welcome back. Now we're going to start putting the rest of these things, items in their little containers, and then we'll write some rules to format them and style them even further. So, where we left off, we were just beginning to put these things in their these IP divs or AP divs. So I want to make some more room right now. So I'm just going to click up here and hit return a couple of times. And I'm going to go to Insert and grab my AP div, and I'm going to draw it around the headline. I'm going to make it a little longer. You can see I changed the text a little bit. We can always change stuff. I'm going to select this. Well, that was wrong. Try this one more time. I'm going to cut it. So Edit, Cut, or Command X, and then I'm going to place it inside this div right here. Now it lost its H1 heading, which happens, so I'm just going to select it in here and go back to Format, make sure in the Properties panel I'm under HTML, and choose H1, and now it's back again. Okay, so let's see. We're going to change the H1 size so that it matches our text size a little bit more. So I need to write a rule for that, really, because I don't have one. So in my styles rule, I'll be adding a new rule, and this new rule is going to be a tag, and it's for H1. So I'm going to say OK to that, and I'm going to make H1 about 38 pixels. So, and I'm just going to say OK. Now, I've done this before. That's why I knew 38 was the right number. But I'm dragging this. If I click on this and then click on this thing, I can drag it around. Or with this selected, I can just use my arrow keys on my keyboard to move it by 1 pixel a click. And I'm just going to put it about right there. Okay? So far, so good. All right. Let's do another AP div for the body copy, which all goes in this gray box over here. Now, I have to see if I can get it to work or not here. On my smaller screen. My screen's small because of the movies, but I can always work out some way to fix it. And down, 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 down. There we go. That ought to work right there. Okay. This needs to be black as well. So if I click up here, I should be able to do background color black. Okay. And then I'm going to select all of the copy, right? And I'm going to paste it in there. So I'm going to go over here, and from here I'm going to keep sliding down. Okay, this is maybe a little nauseating, but bear with me. Down, down, down. There we go. And there's all the copy, and I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to click in this new AP div and paste it in there. Now you can see the black part of it stops right here, and that's because the AP div, if I click here and get its instructions, it has a definite height. So I'm just going to select that definite height, hit delete, and then hit return, and now it continues to be black as long as it has text, or it needs to be that big. Okay? So let's see. Moving along. We did that. Oh, we did that. We're going to look at live view right now. Well, first of all, I think we can go ahead and change our background. Let's change our background back to the regular one. Okay? So under our CCS, in the body, where we called our FPO background, we're going to click on this little folder out here, and we're going to go to home, background home.jpg, and say OK to that. And that way, when we look at it in live view, it's going to look a little bit more realistic. Okay, so that's what we have so far. And I'm going to turn that off of live view. Okay. Now, when we're in live view, maybe you noticed, and even when we're not in live view, my Y is getting cut off here because this div tag has a higher index number than this div tag. And to show you what I'm talking about, if I click on this, my index for this div 1 is 1, and the index for this one, div 2, is 2. So I want to change this index number to, let's make it 10. Okay, see how I pull it out in front of it. The higher the number, the closer to you it is, okay? That's just basically the way that works. Okay, let's see. Did that. We're going to rename the divs now. In the CC version of Dreamweaver, you don't have to make these things divs. You can just call them their new HTML5 names, which is, things like header and navigation and section. But we're going to go do that right now. So we're going to change, first of all, there's none for logo. So I'm going to come down here with this selected, and I'm just going to change this to AP div to logo. That way it'll be easier to identify. And what that did is change this ID from AP div 1 to logo. And it also changed it in my styles over here. My AP div 1 disappeared, but now I have a pound logo, which means that's an ID number logo. Okay, so now let's do this. Let's take this one and we're going to make it nav, but we're not going to make it a div and nav. We're going to make the tag nav. So with this selected, I'm coming down here to this tag selector, and I'm going to right click right here where it says div hash mark AP div 2, and I'm going to right click and click on quick tag editor. You can also control click. Okay, and here I'm going to select everything after that angle bracket, and I'm going to type nav. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. You can see that my code hinting is saying there's nav right there. I'll hit enter. I'll close with another angle bracket, and I'll hit return. Now, here's what happened. It in the code, it changed this from AP div ID div ID equals AP div 2 to nav, a new tag. What it didn't do is it didn't change the rule over here, and therefore we lost all of our styling because it has no rule associated with it. So all I'm going to do is find this AP div over here, click on it, change it to nav, and when I hit enter, all the styling comes back because it applies these rules to that new tag. Okay, and one more time for this one, we're going to call this one header. So right here in my tag selector, right click or control click quick tag editor, and I'm going to select everything after that first angle bracket, and I'm going to type header and hit enter once, close the bracket, hit enter again, come over here, that was AP div 3, and I'm going to change this one to header. And my style comes right back. Okay, and lastly, actually right now, this gives me problems later on when I start making this whole thing responsive. The amount of padding I want to keep this all the content in my section here away from the sides. So what I do, or what I've figured out that makes it easier to control and looks better on the screen, is inside of section I want to add another tag, and I'm just going to make it a div tag, and we'll call it padding. But here's an easy way to add that. So here's my ID. Oh, we didn't change this. We'll change the name of it right now. We're going to go ahead and call this one section. So quick tag editor, and we're going to call this one section. Hit enter and close that. Come over here to the 4 and call this section. Okay, so I want another tag right inside of section. So I'm going to select everything that's from here to the closing tag of section, which is quite a ways because we have all of our body text in there, right? All right, should be coming up. There it is. So right here. And then over here, if you look on the side here, you'll see this pencil thing called tag wrap, or wrap tag. And if I click on that, whatever I type in here will wrap everything I have selected in the code in that tag. So this is going to be div with an ID equal to padding. And then close quote. And then I'll hit enter. And this is what happened. I will move this over here. It, inside of section, added one more div tag. So it's kind of a box within a box. And down here at the end, if I go back all the way to the end here, I should find the end div tag. Now the end div tag doesn't have any identification. So what I like to do is add a comment, and I like to say end padding. So if I'm wondering what that div tag ends, or what it's supposed to end, it's pretty easy to identify now. Okay? So anyway, this will come in handy in the future. In fact, right now, let's do a little rule for the padding section right now. So I'm going to go into the design view, and we're going to write it, rule for padding. Now remember, padding is an ID. So I am going to just say that in my box, I want this to be 35 for all. And I'll say OK. And see how it pushes it away from the edge of the box. It gives me some comfortable padding around that. And now when I style the box to reposition on the screen, depending on what screen it's going to be on, I don't have to deal with the math of the padding and having it squeezed down and look awful on me. Okay. Well, I'll see you next movie then. And we'll do some more stuff. All right.